Welcome to Next Human Lab podcast. I'm Simon, and I'm really glad you're here with us today. Before we begin, I want to introduce someone who always brings warmth to our space, my friend and co-host Luna.
Thank you, Simon. It's always good to be here. Honestly, I woke up to the sound of rain this morning, and it felt like the world was inviting me to slow down. One of those rare mornings where you don't mind being a few minutes late, you know?
Absolutely. I almost spilled my coffee this morning because I was watching the clouds instead of watching where I was going. But maybe that's the mood for today. Moving gently, not rushing anywhere.
I like that. Let's just sit with where we are. Sometimes that's the best way to start.
Today feels like a gentle conversation, the kind that doesn't rush but sits with you. We're talking about something subtle, something most people feel but rarely say out loud. The difference between the life you're building and the life you actually want.
Not what looks successful, not what sounds impressive, but what feels honest inside. Because many people are doing everything right, and yet something feels quietly off. Like you're moving forward, but not arriving, achieving, but not settling.
That doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're becoming aware. Awareness is uncomfortable because once you feel it, you can't unfeel it. It's like waking up in a room you thought you knew and suddenly noticing a window you never saw before.
Most people were taught how to build a life, but not how to listen to one. So they follow scripts, study, work, achieve, accumulate, repeat. And one day, in the middle of doing well, they feel strangely tired. Not physically tired, soul tired.
That tiredness isn't weakness. It's honesty knocking. It's your inner self asking a brave question, is this the life I chose or the life I inherited?
We inherit expectations, dreams, definitions of success before we ever learn how to define them ourselves. At first, those borrowed dreams feel exciting because they give direction, but later they can feel heavy because they aren't always aligned.
Alignment feels peaceful, even when it's hard. Misalignment feels restless, even when things look easy. Some listeners right now might feel restless and not know why. It's not because they're ungrateful, it's because they're honest.
There's a quiet courage in admitting, this life looks right, but doesn't feel right. That's not failure, that's awakening. Most people live by performance. They learn to show strength, not feel truth. And performance is exhausting because it never ends.
Truth is calming, even when it's challenging, because truth doesn't ask you to pretend. The life you're building is shaped by habits, schedules, expectations. The life you want is shaped by values, peace, freedom, and clarity.
One is constructed from outside pressure. The other grows from inside awareness. Both are real, but only one feels alive.
Sometimes people confuse stability with fulfillment, but they are not the same. Stability keeps you safe. Fulfillment makes you feel whole. Safety matters, but safety without meaning feels empty. Meaning without safety feels chaotic.
So this episode is about balance, not destruction. Not quitting your life or burning bridges. Just gently asking, is my direction still true? And allowing the answer to evolve.
People think transformation has to be loud, but it doesn't. The deepest changes are quiet. They happen in thought, not announcement. They happen when you stop running and start listening.
Listening is an act of courage. So if today you feel uncertain, don't label it as confusion. Label it as awareness. Awareness is the beginning of freedom.
And freedom begins with honesty. This conversation isn't here to give you answers. It's here to help you ask better questions. Because better questions lead to truer lives. Most of us didn't choose what we wanted in the beginning. We absorbed it from family, school, culture, social media. We were taught what a good life should look like.
Stable job, respect, progress, security. None of these are wrong, but they're incomplete if they're not chosen consciously. We confuse survival with fulfillment. Survival says be safe, fulfillment says be true. And being true feels risky because it means disappointing expectations.
So many people live to be acceptable, not alive. Acceptance feels good, but aliveness feels real. We were taught to chase milestones, degrees, titles, money, approval, but no one taught us how to chase peace, clarity, or emotional safety.
So people succeed and still feel restless because achievement doesn't answer identity. Identity asks, who am I when no one is watching? And that question changes everything.
The life we were taught to want is often loud, fast, competitive. The life we actually want is quieter, slower, more honest. We were trained to compare, to measure, to keep up, but comparison steals direction and replaces truth with noise.
You stop listening to yourself and start watching others. Then you build a life that looks impressive but feels foreign. That's when exhaustion appears, not from work, but from misalignment. Misalignment drains more than effort ever will.
The world rewards speed, but your inner world rewards integrity. And integrity feels peaceful. So this part of the journey is about noticing, not fixing, not judging, just seeing clearly.
You don't need to reject everything you learned. You just need to filter it. Ask, does this still belong to me? Some dreams were borrowed, some were inherited, some were chosen, and now you get to choose again.
That's not rebellion. That's maturity. That's becoming human in a deeper way.
Once you pause long enough, you start noticing a different pull, not the one society taught you, not the one others expect, the one that quietly feels right. It's subtle at first, a sense of peace when you choose something small but honest, a moment of clarity in an ordinary day.
You begin to realize what you really want. Freedom to think, freedom to rest, freedom to be yourself without fear. And this isn't about luxury or extreme change, it's about simplicity, choosing alignment over appearance.
You might notice it in small ways, a book that excites you, a conversation that feels nourishing, a quiet walk that makes your mind settle. Those moments are markers, like little breadcrumbs guiding you toward your inner life.
You start understanding that fulfillment is not in what you own, it's in how true your life feels to your heart. And that truth doesn't demand applause, it just asks to be honored.
The life you want often prioritizes peace over speed, depth over breadth, presence over performance. And it can feel unfamiliar because we're trained to chase visibility, recognition, and milestones.
But the life you want is quieter, not empty, but full in a different, richer way. When you notice it, you begin to make choices differently. Small choices, first choices about attention, energy, relationships.
Over time, these small choices accumulate. They start forming a life that feels deeply right. Your inner compass starts to guide you more than outside pressures. And slowly, your soul stops feeling tired, even if the external world is busy.
This is the life that teaches you contentment, not complacency. Contentment born of alignment. And alignment brings calm, even in the midst of chaos. When you finally honor this, you feel like you're living again. Not performing, not surviving, but truly living.
Once you recognize what you actually want, courage is needed. Not the flashy kind, quiet, consistent courage. Courage to say no to what doesn't fit, to redirect energy, to stand still when the world pushes speed.
It doesn't require abandoning your life. It just requires noticing, listening, and making gentle corrections. Even small changes matter: a different morning routine, a new way of spending time, a choice to engage differently with people.
Slowly, these gentle shifts rebuild your life from the inside. You might feel fear at first. Fear of judgment. Fear of losing what feels familiar. That fear is a sign you're on the right path. It means growth is happening.
Realignment is not about perfection. It's about conscious choice, choosing direction over default. When you consistently choose alignment, you start noticing peace that wasn't there before. And that peace becomes strength, a quiet strength that doesn't need proving.
This is the kind of transformation that lasts. Not the dramatic, external kind, but the kind that changes your inner life permanently. It shapes every decision afterward: how you spend your energy, who you spend it with, and how you respond to challenges.
Because now, you're no longer running on autopilot. You're leading your own life. The courage to realign is the same courage that builds resilience, clarity, and love without expectation.
Eventually, this courage becomes second nature, a quiet confidence you carry into everything you do.
When your choices start reflecting your inner truth, life changes not in drama, not in chaos, but in clarity and flow. People notice, but not always immediately. Sometimes the biggest impact is invisible.
And when someone asks, "How did you build this life?" you can smile quietly and think back to the small, brave decisions, the courage to pause, the courage to realign, the courage to honor what truly matters.
You realize that transformation wasn't external, it was internal. It was about becoming the person who could handle life fully.
That is the essence of being human. Not perfect, not polished, but conscious, aligned, peaceful, loving. This is what the next generation needs. Strength without ego, clarity without force, peace without withdrawal.
You start living in a way that inspires others quietly because your life now reflects depth and truth. And you understand that every moment, every choice, every pause mattered.
Even the ones that felt small, even the ones that felt invisible. And one day, when everything aligns, you see the life you've built finally matches the life you want. And the strange exhaustion disappears, replaced by calm, purpose, and fulfillment.
And when people ask, how did you do it?
You smile and say, "The life I wanted was inside me all along. I just learned to listen."
That's the journey. Not loud, not dramatic, quiet, honest, meaningful.
And that is the life worth living. So, if you're feeling restless today, remember, you're not lost. You're becoming the next human.
Thank you for sitting with us today. This is the Next Human Lab podcast, the space we aligned, peaceful, strong, and aware.